Claudia Vera Cumberbatch, known as Claudia Jones, founded Britain's first major black newspaper, the West Indian Gazette, in 1958 and set up the Notting Hill Carnival in 1959. Claudia was born in Trinidad in 1915 and in 1924 her family emigrated to New York City following the post-war cocoa price crash in Trinidad. She won the Theodore Roosevelt Award for Good Citizenship at her junior high school in America, but despite being a very intelligent young woman, she decided not to go to college as she knew that she would not get what she was looking for in terms of a career in what was then a very separatist and racist America. She found a job in Harlem, working in a laundry, and moved on to other jobs in the retail industry. During this time, she joined a drama group and began to write a column called Claudia's Comments for a Harlem journal. In 1936, she joined the Young Communist League USA, and in 1937 she joined the editorial staff of the Daily Worker. In 1938, she became the editor of the Weekly Review. During World War II, the Young Communist League changed its name to the American Youth for Democracy. Claudia became editor of its monthly journal, Spotlight. After the war, she became executive secretary for the Women's Commission of the Communist Party USA, and in 1952 took the same position at the National Peace Council. In 1953, she took over the editorship of Negro Affairs. As a member of the Communist Party USA and a black national feminist, Claudia identified with black women's oppression, known as triple oppression. Her ideology consisted of a conceptualization of race, class, and gender. She sought to set up job training programs and to campaign for equal pay for equal work, government controls on food prices, funding for wartime childcare programs, daytime classes for women, and babysitter funds to allow women's activism. Claudia Jones' best-known piece of writing, An End to the Neglect of the Problems of the Negro Woman, appeared in 1949 in the magazine Political Affairs. In it, she wrote, "The bourgeoisie is fearful of the militancy of the Negro woman, and for good reason. The capitalists know, far better than many progressives seem to know, that once Negro women begin to take action, the militancy of the whole Negro people, and thus of the anti-imperialist coalition, is greatly enhanced. Historically, the Negro woman has been the guardian, the protector of the Negro family. As mother, as Negro, and as worker, the Negro woman fights against the wiping out of the Negro family, against the Jim Crow ghetto existence which destroys the health, morale, and very life of millions of her sisters, brothers, and children." As a result of her membership of the Communist Party USA and various associated activities, in 1948 she was arrested and sentenced to the first of 4 spells in prison. Incarcerated on Ellis Island in 1951, aged 36, she suffered her first heart attack. Following a hearing by the Immigration and Naturalization Service, she was ordered to be deported on the 21st of December 1950. She was refused entry to Trinidad and Tobago, in part because the British colonial governor considered that she may prove troublesome. She was eventually offered residency in the United Kingdom on humanitarian grounds, and US federal authorities agreed to allow it. Claudia arrived in London 2 weeks later, at a time when the British African Caribbean community was expanding. At this time in Britain, many landlords, shops, and even some government establishments displayed signs saying, "No Irish, no blacks, no dogs." Claudia saw a community that needed active organisation. She became involved in the British African Caribbean community movement for equal rights. Supported by her friends, Trevor Carter, Nadia Cattouse, Amy Ashwood Garvey, Beryl McBurney, Pearl Prescott, and her lifelong mentor, Paul Robeson, Claudia Jones campaigned against racism in housing, education, and employment. She believed and said that people without a voice were as lambs to the slaughter, and in March 1958 she founded the anti-imperialist, anti-racist newspaper, the West Indian Gazette, in Brixton above a barber's shop. The paper became a key contributor to the rise of consciousness within the black British community. She said in her last published essay, titled The Caribbean Community in Britain, the newspaper has served as a catalyst, quickening the awareness, socially and politically, of West Indians, Afro-Asians and their friends. In August 1958, 4 months after the launch of the West Indian Gazette, the Notting Hill race riots and riots in Robin Hood Chase, Nottingham took place. As a result, Claudia Jones suggested that the black British community should have a carnival to wash the taste of Notting Hill and Nottingham out of our mouths. She used her connections to get the use of St Pancras Town Hall in January 1959 for the first Mardi Gras-based carnival that went on to become the Notting Hill Carnival. The event was directed by Edric Connor and featured the Bosco Holder Dance Troupe, jazz guitarist Fitzroy Coleman and singer Cleo Lane. The event was televised nationally by the BBC. These early celebrations were epitomised by the slogan, "A people's art is the genesis of their freedom." Claudia Jones died on Christmas Eve 1964, aged 49. Her funeral on 9th of January 1965 was a large and political ceremony, and a message from her greatest mentor, Paul Robeson, was read out.